Well, the first thing you'll see here is that this kind of looks like supplies for a pizza. Well, you are on the right track. Basically, I'm doing a slightly obscure spin-off of something pretty basic. Apparently, some of you haven't tried this before, so I thought I'd make this. These are basically the supplies for creamy tomato bisque. And in total, our recipe comes out to $17.64. That is for our basic supplies for the tomato bisque, so everything here. You can see that this recipe calls for diced tomatoes as one of the bases. I thought I could mix it up a little by giving the same ones that I used last time, the tomatoes with green chilies and chipotle peppers. That way it can give it a little bit of spice to go along with the tomato flavor. Now, to mix it up a little with the obscure part, I'm turning this into basically a supreme pizza soup. So all of these extra supplies here are going to be the supreme pizza toppings that I will cook up along the side. This is a very easy and also really good recipe, especially because you can just use canned tomato soup at the store and then add mozzarella cheese and pepperonis into it, and now you instantly have pepperoni pizza soup. So it's very easy and really good. So I thought I'd try this out, that way you guys can try it out too. So I'm going to start off by cleaning off all the stuff I don't need right now and just get into making the base part. That way we can get that going, because this one takes a little bit of time to cook compared to the toppings. So I will go ahead and clean this off. Oh, also before I forget, we've got the Texas toast here. This is basically just some bread on the side so that we can dip that in the soup also, because of course pizza soups, you gotta have your bread somewhere. So yeah. Okay, so this is the first step, which is the easy part. You can see here I have 3 cans of the diced tomatoes and green chilies. That's because the recipe calls for 2 15-ounce cans. These are 10 ounce, which means I need 3 of them to get 30 ounces total. So this will be basically the easy, I already said that. So the recipe also calls for 1 onion diced to go in. I cut this one in half because I want to use this half for the toppings, and this half will go into the soup directly because we have to blend everything up later, so this will turn into a paste basically. So I'd still like some onions for a topping. Our seasoning mix this time is 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and then they call for 1/4 of a cup of fresh basil, but I didn't have any fresh basil, so I used my Italian seasoning mix, which will be pretty good too. And I just kind of put in a little bit of that because it's a bit stronger than straight basil. So at this point, with all of this, we go ahead and just throw everything in. And that is it for this. Now we're just going to mix that up and put it on for about 6 to 8 on low. It also says you can put it on high for 2 hours, but I feel like it just cooks a little bit more evenly if you put it on low. I will see you in about 8 hours. So here are our toppings. Of course, you don't need to use any of these, and you can keep it as just tomato bisque, which is also good because it's not like tomato bisque is bad. But if you wanted to spice it up a little bit, you can put any and all of these in. So our total for the toppings by themselves is $14.16. You can see I tried to keep everything volumetrically about even, roughly 7 ounces of everything. Of course, the pepper's a little bit less, but these are about 7. And then cheese, yeah. So I got some black olives, some mushrooms, the 2 jalapenos, the bell pepper, the other half of the onion, and then some pepperoni and crumbled sausage. So this should be really good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all these prepared, and I'm just going to toss them in a pan so that they're a little bit crisped. That way you don't just have raw vegetables and stuff going in. So I'll go ahead and get these taken care of. Okay, so now comes the kind of awkward part. About 40 minutes before it's done, we're supposed to take it out, blend it, and then put it back in. And this soup is red hot now, so I can't really just grab it and pour it. So I'm gonna try and do it in little sections, so we will see how this goes. It smells pretty good so far. That's hot. All right. Let's see how good this goes. So just as I thought, this is really hot. It also says in the instructions that we should puree it. Luckily this one has a puree option, so we will see how this does. Hopefully it doesn't make a mess. Boom. So I guess now we'll just pour this into the bowl. Here I go making a mess again. And now we just do it for the rest until all of it is blended good. So next time we'll make sure that the top isn't on the open side when I turn it on so that it doesn't shoot all the tomato juice out to the end. Now that we're done with this, we'll just go ahead and pour it back in and then put it back on low. We've got about a little less than an hour. So now we'll go ahead and get the other stuff started. So now we're gonna thicken up our soup a little bit with the, I don't even know how to pronounce this, the Rauch sauce. So we'll start off with our butter here. So we're gonna put this on medium heat. Perfect, centered. Once the butter's all melted, then we will whisk in our 1/4 of a cup of flour. So once this is combined pretty good, we are then going to put in the last cup of heavy cream. And then we just combine it again. I mean, I guess that's good. I don't know what this is supposed to look like. Okay, so now we just put this back in with the rest of it. At this point, we will also put our cheese in. This bag is pre-measured essentially because they want 2 cups and this bag is 2 cups, so it works out perfectly. And now we just mix it in and we let it cook for another ½ hour. So now we are ready to cook up our toppings. I'm gonna go ahead and do the meat last. That way I can drain the oil out of it afterwards. So I'm gonna start by putting just a tiny bit of coconut oil in so that they can crisp a little easier. I'll just reuse the pan from earlier. So I'll go ahead and throw all these in. And at this point, you just crisp them up however much you want. I'd say that's pretty good, don't you think? We'll go ahead and dump these veggies into a storage container, and then I'm going to swap out and put the meat in. Of course, I'd expect the paper to actually come off. This is about twice the amount of sausage I should put, but I'm not going to be using this for anything else, so I'll just cook all of it at once. Already, now this is done, and we can put everything together. Okay, so our final product. There is our tomato bisque. It smells pretty awesome. Of course, it doesn't look like much because that's all it is. It's just tomato soup anyway. but the fancy kind. Oh. Well, that covers pretty much everything. At this point, all we have left is to combine all of our toppings. You have two options here. You can either put all of your vegetables together in the soup and then mix it up, or you can leave them like I do it. You have the soup by itself, and then you just top them as you go. That way they're more like a garnishment and not something you mix in. You can see here the pepperonis are not cooked. Those ones are, you don't really need to cook them, and I think they get kind of dry if you do cook them, so feel free to cook them if you want, it doesn't matter. For our topping for the cheese, we have our 6 cheese here. I cut the pepperonis into little quarter slices because the full-size ones are a little too large for putting as a garnishment, so I just cut them up. That way it'd be a little easier, so you can do whatever you want. I was trying to find the little mini ones, but they didn't sell them, so those are good enough. And at this point, I think everything is covered, so feel free to try this out. I hope you enjoy it. It smells really good. And I will see you next time. Okay, how is this for presentation? A little better than my normal stuff, right? Yeah, looks tasty, doesn't it? Well, it's all mine, you can't have any. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and have fun trying it out.